Welcome back to Cityline. With me right now, I have somebody who is the definition of creativity. I love interviewing him, and he keeps us all on our toes in terms of the wonderful shows that he and his family produce for us. I'm talking about John Douglas Rake. He is the managing artistic director of Tacoma Musical Playhouse. Hello, John. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. It is good to see you too.
So I want to find out how are you? How is your husband Jeffrey? And how has that beautiful TMP family been coping during COVID-19?
We are being very careful, very socially conscious about all of the things that are going on, but it has really affected. I mean, we aren't in any kind of productions. We are doing some virtual things to try to stay in touch with our TMP family and our patrons, and doing some other things too to keep busy. That's been sort of the hardest part too, is that you don't have as much to do, and so your days kind of go by slower.
Yeah, so speaking of that, so what is going on right now at Tacoma Musical Playhouse, my dear?
We are creating some virtual productions. The first is going to be The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It's actually an original script and retelling of the story with actors, and we're filming it. It's not going to be like a Zoom production. It's actually being filmed with a small group of actors, and that will be in October, at the end of October, October 30th and 31st. We also thought, because kids won't be able to necessarily go trick-or-treating, some may not. So we thought, well, we're going to create something for the family that they can sit down and watch together and have a little bit of a Halloween.
I love that. I mean,
yeah.
And you also are teaching or refreshing the skills for those actors of what it's like to work on film, because film is not Zooming and there are totally different rules. So good on you for putting in like another great little skill development in that.
They are thrilled to be just working.
I bet. So speaking of that, so now that we have Sleepy Hollow, does that inspire you to kind of think about other shows that people could see in the next few months?
Right. Oh, yes. We've got some other things planned. We have a hilarious musical called Assisted Living, the musical. And it's a look at what it's like to live in an assisted living center and all the crazy characters that are there. And the music is hilarious. It spoofs on a lot of very popular songs, like The Lion Sleeps Tonight. But it's, instead of that, it's He Can't Get It Up and things like that. It's absolutely hilarious. We have a really great cast: Sherry O'Hara, Michael O'Hara, Frank Cohell, who's been in many of our productions, and a newcomer, Lissa Valentine, who has done some theater here in our senior group, and then she did one production at TLT, and that's going to go up in November. I think, let's see, the dates for that are November 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Well,
and
keep going.
And people can purchase tickets by going online at our website. And then what we'll do is we'll send them the link to be able to watch that. And we're marketing it to group homes, assisted living homes, you name it. We're trying to get out there because it is so funny.
It's a good thing that we are on Zoom, that our audience could not see me mute myself and about fall out of the chair.
Yeah.
What was the cherry on the cake for me, or the cherry on the sundae, was when you mentioned Sherry and Michael O'Hare. For people who don't know, that they are a married couple and they are so funny together, it's ridiculous. So to take that energy and to put it on stage to film, that's got birdcage written all over it. It's going to be funny.
Absolutely. It's one of the funniest shows that I've read in a long time. I have a friend in Venice, Florida, that's been presenting it for a couple of years, and tickets sell out so fast when they do a live production of it. And he said, John, you've got that same kind of audience that we do. You should think about doing this. And So here we are trying to do it virtually, but it's going to be totally filmed and it's set up kind of like a vaudeville show, and it's really funny.
Before we hit the record button on our session together today, we were talking about COVID and about how, it's just, we are all at the mercy of COVID. How does this affect Tacoma Musical Playhouse and also your ability to plan to reopen?
Well, trying to plan is ongoing and it's a moving target because we just don't know when the governor will allow live theaters to be open and do it safely. We don't want to do it just because he says it's open. We really want to think through the process. We want to keep everybody safe, our actors safe, our patrons safe. And so we've already started some of the guidelines that we will be using. Plexiglass and masks will be needed to be worn, socially distanced seating. Our actors will wear masks until they actually go on stage, but then they'll still try to social distance as much as possible. But who knows when that's going to be. But our staff is still working. Everybody's working. We haven't furloughed anybody. Trying to keep them busy as possible. And I just feel, that at this time, we can't let them go and deal with unemployment, and everyone gets health benefits. And so we don't want those to go away at this time either. So we're working really hard to stay financially successful, but dealing with all of the being able to do things here at the theater.
This may seem like such an obvious question, but when you just poured out such a beautiful illustration of how well you and Jeffrey and the board take care of that family in terms of not furloughing them and keeping those health benefits going, because we're all in trauma right now, trying to do the best that we can. So with that statement in mind, how can people support Tacoma Musical Playhouse right now? What do you need the most?
The money, that is the number one thing. We're having it's kind of a fun event. It's and it's ongoing. It's a pandemic purge / costume shop sale. And it's like a giant yard sale. We've reached out to our patrons and asked, do you have things that you want to get rid of? And they've been very gracious about coming in and giving us some very, very nice stuff. And then we went through our costume shop and we pulled costumes and things that we don't really need anymore, or that we don't see that we'll use it in the future, and put together a huge sale. And we've been doing it for 3 weekends. We have one more weekend of it this coming weekend. And you would not believe some of the beautiful things that have come in, antique china, artwork, all kinds of things. And the first weekend we did it, we had almost $7,500 weekend, which was great for us. And so we continue to do that. So people can come in, and that's one way to support us. They can mail in donations for us. And we will be doing an annual fund letter to reach out to our patrons. And so that's pretty much how they can reach out. They need to follow us kind of on our website. And if they aren't on our email list, they can get on that. And we constantly email out to them different things that are happening here.
Beautifully said. And oh my gosh, I'm like, wow, that's a sale I want to be at. That is incredible. Just for the stories alone about something that you might pick up that has been in someone's family for years. So John, you've always been, and you still are, a great planner when it comes to your seasons. I know that you always have your eye on New York. You always have an idea of what's coming up, what scripts are available. If you look at that through the COVID lens, how are you able to continue that expertise and that excellence? Because, I mean, it's COVID-19. So what are you thinking?
Well, I know that when open again, the productions will be smaller. One, because of cost of putting them on. We won't be doing any huge musicals probably for a little while. Hopefully next summer, maybe we'll be able to do our first larger scale show. So I'm looking at a lot of little shows that I think would still have the wonderful appeal to our patrons, more off-Broadway kind of things that we haven't performed on our stage, because we need to fill the theater with people. And so here, if we can't do that, we can try new things and look at new shows that are a little more edgy. And I think those are the audiences that are going to come back first, are the younger set. And so we're going to cater to them for a little while. And then as we progress through COVID and we get a vaccine and we get other drugs to help curtail it, and our audiences will feel safer, then we'll start gearing up towards our larger productions.
John, my last question for you is because you have been just a pivotal part of the Tacoma art scene and the Tacoma theater scene for years. I mean, ever since I've been here, you've been here, and you've been here longer than I have. When you think about this time and you reflect back, what do you think COVID-19, what kind of lasting impact is it going to have on the art scene? What do you think we're going to do different?
I think, first of all, if we survive, that will be one thing that we'll be thankful for. I think that there have been new opportunities to look at new creative ways, like with the virtual and the filming and things like that, that will probably continue to do some of that. It offers more opportunities for our performers to do, and our audiences to look at new and different kind of shows. So we'll continue to do that. I think everybody has to get creative with what they can do at this time, and I bet you'll see it carry over into when we finally do start coming back.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for the 24/7 life you live for Tacoma Musical Playhouse. I mean, if you and Jeffrey had a child, it would be Tacoma Musical Playhouse. So therefore,
absolutely,
your parenting of this beautiful entity never stops. Thank you for being a slice of joy and silver linings, and a reminder that some things still stay the same, and that is the joy of theater. And I want you back in my kitchen around Christmas time, okay?
Oh, we have some great things coming up in December too, so absolutely.
All right, much love to you and your family, my dear.
Same to you.
Well, that wraps up another great segment of Cityline, from my kitchen to your home. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to be with you. We really have given you some great things to think about as you enjoy this beautiful fall here in the Northwest. So go out there, be a part of that tapestry, but remember, wear your mask, wash your hands, make sure that you are socially distancing while you're out, and above all, are you ready? Vote. And when you come back, as always, I'll be waiting for you right here at Cityline. Take care.
Tacoma's where you'll stay. Oh, you're from Seattle. Oh, you're from LA. Oh, you're from Chicago, but Tacoma's where you'll stay. Yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. From the fires to the loam. Tacoma, that's my home. Yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home. The place I call my own. Tacoma, that's my home. Yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Oh, you're from the easy. Oh, you're from Green Bay. Oh, you're from Atlanta, but Tacoma's where day.